Welcome to another Beyond Clean Expert series. I'm your host, Bobby Parker, and today I'm excited to be launching for you a brand new, hot off the press expert series, the Chemical Safety Expert Series. Joining us for this whole series is our chemical safety expert, Alex Hilliker, and often on the first of these episodes, my goal in this episode is to help you get to know a little bit of the man behind the Expert Series cartoon and introduce Alex to you. Of course, Alex, being our chemical safety expert, has over 15 years of experience working in healthcare and employee safety. He has a master's degree in public administration and is the current executive vice president of ChemDAQ. Alex, welcome to the series. Why don't you start us off here by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, Bobby, first and foremost, it's awesome to be here on the Expert Series. Thanks to you and the entire Beyond Clean team. It's great to work with you again. I know we've collaborated in the past on various education initiatives, and it's really great to be working with you again on this topic. I am confident that this series is going to be really enlightening for a lot of your viewers. And my hope for this series is that it drives meaningful conversations in sterile processing departments across the country. So, as you mentioned, before my role here at ChemDAQ, I spent a little more than a decade working in the government consulting field. I worked with clients like the Army's Medical Command under the Office of the Surgeon General. I also supported the Veterans Health Administration under VA, working to improve various healthcare-related programs and processes before I transitioned to my role here at ChemDAQ. For those of your viewers who might not be familiar, here at ChemDAQ, our mission is to empower our customers to eliminate workplace exposure to toxic chemicals. We do that through innovative monitoring and control solutions, industry-leading partnerships, and superior safety expertise. And specifically in my role as the executive vice president, I spend most of my time having conversations like this, raising awareness of the importance of chemical safety and real-time continuous monitoring across a variety of industries to ensure worker safety and regulatory compliance. I am super passionate about this topic, and so thanks again for having me, and look forward to the next 12 months here.
Well, we couldn't be more excited. Chemical safety is one of those topics that doesn't get talked about a whole lot in the industry. As you and I have talked about in previous conversations, it seems to be getting more attention these days, as we'll make allusion to, even some updates to some standards that we're going to talk about in the coming months. And so we're definitely excited to hear about some of the answers to the complex questions around chemical safety and that important topic in the workplace. So why don't you give us a little bit of a teaser here at the outset? Where is it that you want to take us over the next 12 months in this expert series?
Sure. As you mentioned, Bobby, chemical safety is not talked about very much, but it's a critical component for efficiency and processes in sterile processing, worker safety, and ultimately patient safety. So where we're going to start this series is, as you mentioned, something that's top of mind for many in the community, and that's the evolving standards and regulations, AAMI ST58 in particular. AAMI ST58 is the standard for chemical sterilization and high-level disinfection. It was just updated last year at the end of 2024. So we'll take some time to unpack that. We'll discuss the changes that were implemented and how that impacts staff safety. There's a lot to cover there in one short episode, but I think it'll be a theme that comes up again and again throughout this series. After we do that, we'll dive a little bit deeper into the history of the chemicals that are used in sterile processing. We'll talk about examples from the past like ethylene oxide and glutaraldehyde, and why and how those chemicals transitioned to the ones that are most commonly used today, namely hydrogen peroxide and peracetic acid. After we establish that baseline, we'll talk about current regulations and, I think importantly, definitions that are important for everyone working in the SPD setting to understand, and that will really help paint the picture of what safety and compliance looks like in the department. So what is a permissible exposure limit, for example? We'll start with the basics. We'll start Chemical Safety 101 to ensure we're all on the same page as we progress throughout this series. Then we're going to move in to talking about the two most common chemicals used today. Again, hydrogen peroxide and peracetic acid. We'll better understand how they're used, why they're used, and importantly, safety considerations that need to be made when working around them. And then we're going to zoom back out. In the second half of the series, we're going to talk about some real-world practical examples, some strategies that SPD technicians and leaders can leverage to mitigate overexposure to these chemicals in the department. And we'll also talk about some new and exciting research that's happening and some developments that are relevant to this industry.
Well, that sounds like a great pitch. You can sign me up for it. I hope if you're out there still watching at this point that it is it's an exciting pitch for you. You know, it's never really that fun or exciting when the safety guy comes around and then, like talks about how to keep your department safe. But this area in particular, there are some risks that we don't necessarily think about from day to day, and so I'm excited to dive into what those risks are and maybe how serious they are, how seriously we should take them, what we should be doing about them proactively in the department. Next month, to get started on that, I'd like to start where you mentioned starting in those updates to the standards. So if ST58 is a new acronym for you, stay tuned for that first episode next month as we take a deep dive into those standards and what it means for chemical monitoring and chemical safety. Well, that's going to do it for this first installment of this Chemical Safety Expert Series. If you have any questions about chemical monitoring or chemical safety, I would encourage you to reach out directly to Alex. You'll find his contact information in the video description below. And if you've been enjoying this series, or if you just saw this one kind of halfway through recording midstream, you can find the full collection of videos on beyondclean.net. So stay tuned for every episode release each month. And until we talk to you again next time, keep fighting dirty.